welcome to a Cincy fan talking with LP. And of course, this is your boy LP. Let's give it up for him out here. Hey, it's good to be back. Appreciate it. Man, just being able to simulate people cheering for you was just absolutely awesome. I'm telling you. I mean, it felt real. So since it felt real, I'm gonna roll with it. Hey, um, welcome back to the pod. Your boy been away for a while. It's really good to be back out here podding again. Thanks to everybody that was patient with your boy. I won't. I mean, this whole thing. Like dealing with everything we've been going through. It's been really difficult. But honestly, I just haven't been podding because, man, work has just left me tired. Dealing with the goofy kids and doing all the stuff you have to do when you're teaching, working out lesson plans, getting observed while you're teaching, doing the lessons, dealing with the kids, making sure the parents understand what you're doing. Like all the stuff that being a teacher and, having your own kids and assisting them with their stuff, doing all that, it just left me tired, like I was just too tired to, haul it up and set everything up and pie for y'all. But it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I just like to do it, even if it's only like two people listening. It's just one of those things where I just like to do it. So I knew I was gonna be back at it at some point, and my people, the I mean the fan base isn't super huge. I ain't gonna lie to you, but enough people out there like LP. When you gonna talk about what happened with Old State? What's up with your Bengals, man? Like, hey, what's been going on with you at school? Like, let us know. So I knew I was gonna be back. Life happens, and sometimes you just gotta push that to the side and be like, you know what, life, I gotta get this pod out here, man. I gotta get my content out. So appreciate y'all riding with your boy. It's gonna suck talking about what happened to Ohio State. It's about to suck talking about what happened with the Bengals, but it ain't roses out here all the time with your sports teams. And if anybody understands that, of course, it's me being a Cincinnati fan. All things Cincinnati, you got to deal with the heartache that goes with being a Cincinnati sports fan. That's just how it goes. We're a suffering city as far as sports go. And my Buckeyes, I never say the Buckeyes let me down. Like, never. Like, if you're a true blue fan of your team, I mean, the result don't go your way, especially when you playing a team up north. Salty about losing to them. And like I was telling somebody, I don't mind saying, I can say Michigan now. Like, I can say it now because it's not that weak. But here's the thing about it, though. And it's a couple of things. It's the game itself, and it's what happened after the game. So we're going to talk about what happened with the game first. Thoroughly disappointed in how the game transpired. If you haven't heard, Buckeyes was like 20.5 point favorites, and we end up losing 13-10. 4 years straight, my Buckeyes lose to the team up north. 4 years straight. Now, being a true blue Buckeye like myself, I've seen the lean years. Hell, I was on campus during the lean years. Like, I'm on campus, we freshmen, we sophomores, and we joking with the team, because we knew a lot of the players because, as far as being black at Ohio State, there's a lot of black people at Ohio State. There's a ton of people that's not black at Ohio State. That's just how it is when you go to a PWI. There's a lot of your people. There's just a whole lot more of people that aren't black there, which makes it a predominantly white institution. But you get to know all the people of color that's there. And a lot of them happen to be on the football and basketball team. But you find out pretty quick, like, they're teenagers just like you. They they go to school, they go to their classes, and people treat them like they're up here, but you get to know them, and they're just really cool people. They just happen to be like 70 pounds larger than you, and they just happen to be like 8 inches taller than you. You feel me? But we care about the same stuff as kids, and we talking to them, and we like, and this is like in the 90s. And we like, yeah, we got to get this dub. We got to get this dub. And they like, yeah, we got this. We got this. And something always happens that breaks the wrong way in the 90s. And we end up taking the L. We in class and we talking about like, what happened? What happened? And they say the same thing. And we had some squads in the late 90s, man. We're not playing with y'all. They just couldn't get it done. And they would say the same thing. They'd be like, man, we just couldn't get it done. We should have did this. We should have called different plays, yada, yada, yada. And that's what's happening now. We have teams that have no business losing. The team that played Michigan on Saturday, no business losing to them. But when you call plays the way that they call plays, when you don't call plays to the strength of your team, what happens is you play into the hands of the other team. Michigan's strength was right up the middle. A great defensive line, especially in the interior. And awesome linebacker set. But they're weak at the defensive back part. Like, they don't have good cornerbacks. They don't have good safeties, not like they used to. So you would think that Ohio State would just kind of sling the rock, get it on the outside, boom, dash with those great wide receivers. No, they keep trying to go, quote unquote, man ball. We got to beat you playing man ball. This is how you know that Michigan is in Ohio State in the coaching squad's head. They're like, if you don't beat us by running the ball, then you don't beat us. Dude, if we score more points to you, then we beat you. Like, we're playing man ball because we're out there playing football. Like, it's football. So if I throw the ball 40 times to beat you, guess what I did? I played to my strength. I'm not about to let you get into my head and tell me I got to beat you doing it your way. No, you do what you do. You run the ball 40, 50 times. That's your thing. You do that. We don't have to. We have a skill set to where we don't have to do that. We can throw the ball first and then run the ball to beat you. Ohio State didn't do that. So you end up playing the Michigan type game, and Michigan is very comfortable just running the ball and playing defense, just running the ball and playing defense. Ohio State can do that, but they didn't have to. And that's where Michigan won the game. If I'm keeping it, well, my grandma would say, quiet as kept. If I'm being real, Michigan won the game 2 years ago today. They won the game 3 or 4 years ago by making Ohio State think that they had to do what Michigan does to win. They're in Ohio State's head. Like, that's what they're doing. They're in the dome of our coaching staff. And they got to shake that. And until they shake that, this is going to keep happening, unfortunately. So that's what I think it came down to. The brass tacks of Michigan, of their coaching staff, going like, look, hey, Ohio State, you're better than us. But guess what? If you don't run the ball, you don't beat us. You really fell for that? Overall, you have more speed, so you use your speed to beat them. So that's where I think Ohio State lost the game. And I'm not about to break down the X's and O's. I'm not, like, there was so many times where Ohio State should have won this game. And they didn't. You got missed field goals. You got turnovers. I mean, it was just a lot of stuff that happened that made Ohio State lose this game. And then you get to the after the game part. Now, as a coach and all of this stuff. I see this two different ways. Michigan tries to plant the flag in the middle of the Ohio State block O. The Ohio State players are like, no, we're not going for that. We're not having that. A feud ensues. All types of fighting happens. They throwing blows. You got Ryan Day just standing there staring at it goofily, and it was a bad scene. Like, then you got the Michigan players saying, hey, you got to learn how to lose. Then you got the Ohio State players saying, not in our house. All the posturing, stuff like that. I got three takes. They're all independent, but they kind of weave into the whole thing. Number one, Michigan, what are you doing? Like, now, before people go like, come on, bias, come on, Homer. Nope, because I got something for Ohio State too. Because the way I see it, nobody was in the right. And people can say, hey, LP, you just trying to play both sides. No, two things can be true at the same time. Number one, Michigan, what are you doing? When you do stuff like that, it's basically a provocation to fight. It really is. You're in the visitor's spot. You're trying to plant your flag, like symbolically, metaphorically, realistically. Planting your flag in a place that's not yours leads to stuff like this. That's what it does. It is a very disrespectful act. It is. I'm coaching middle school basketball. We beat our rival, and we beat them for the championship. We beat them 3 times. My fault. This year, we beat them 4 times in 1 year. We beat them twice in the league. We beat them once in like a tournament that we both happened to be in the middle of the season. Then we popped them there. And then we pop them for the championship game. We're at their place. The tournament was at their place. This is a true story. The tournament's at their place. We win, we get the trophy, we're celebrating. And the players and some of the parents, they want to go to the middle of their logo and they want to pose with the trophy and stuff. They want to do that. They start to walk out there, and before anybody could go ahead and start like, hey, that's not right. I'm like, no. Coach P, man, what you doing? I'm like, no. We got this whole sideline. We can go to either baseline. We have all these places. I'm like, we're not doing it there. We're not. And looking back on it, I feel like that's one of the best things I could have did, because it's to keep it blunt, we in the hood. That's where we at. We hooping in the hood. Doing stuff like that is going to lead to a fight. I saw that. I don't even think they were trying to be disrespectful, I think it's one of those things where they were just like super happy, and I'm thinking as a coach, I'm thinking as a player, I'm thinking as like a parent. If I see that, I'm salty. We already lost. You already showed us that you was better than us. Like we already showed that. Why we gotta rub it in? We don't really have to. We can be classy. That's what I felt like Michigan kind of messed up. They already showed that they were better than Ohio State that day. Now, I don't think the best team won, but I think the best team won that day. I'm just keeping it a buck. For those 60 minutes on November 30th, Michigan was the better team. And since they deserved to win. And they did. You don't have to do the most. You really don't. You don't have to do the most with it. And I felt like they did the most. And they got the response that everybody thought was going to happen. That's probably what should have happened. Having said that, Ohio State, what are you doing? Offense, you had all of that time to like do what you were supposed to do. You had all that time. Y'all want to fight now? Like, really? We fighting now? We already lost the game. So what is it like? We lost the game, but we're not going to lose the fight. I've played as a coach, I've played countless teams like this. I can't tell you how many. It got to a point where we went on like a long winning streak, and I was telling the kids before the game, like, look, if we win the game, we're not even changing back into our street clothes here. We getting on the bus in our uniforms. As soon as the game is over, we shaking their hands, we lining up our rides, and then we getting on the bus and we going home. We not changing here because I already knew what was gonna happen because that's the way some of these teams play. They lose, they want to fight. Take the L. Like, you can't control how people celebrate. You just can't. You can't control that. That's out of your jurisdiction, man. A team lose. If our team lose, we cheer as the winners go by. Yeah, we get them. They just do. We off the field already. We don't even see this happening. And I get you want to protect your house, but you can do that during the game for real. You can do what you're supposed to do, so you don't have to see that. So I felt like Michigan and Ohio State both were completely wrong in the way they handle stuff. Michigan shouldn't have did it in the first place. Ohio State shouldn't have reacted like that in the second place. Like, there's no right at all. There's not one faction that can go like, yeah, well, we right because no, you're not. You're really not. But there's a third thing that's roping this whole thing together. And it's the part that the media ignores. It's the part that the fans ignore. Look, and here it is. Now, if you really want to know where the origins of this came from for me, watch The Wire. Watch season 3. At the very end of season 3, where you got Bunny Colvin talking to Sergeant Carver. And he's schooling Carver the way nobody's ever talked to Carver before because he saw Carver messing up the whole time. And Colvin's like, look, we all hyped up on this war on drugs. But the thing about it is once you call something a war, then you got to make an enemy. Then you got to act like it's a war. And pretty soon you got cops jacking up people they're supposed to protect because it's a war. And in the war, you got an enemy and you got to take a territory. You have to because it's war. That's what we're doing to these players. And it's honestly disgusting. You got the war on I-4. You got clean old-fashioned hate. You got the civil war. You got all of these weird rivalry names evoking this like imagery of war. We gotta fight you because we hate your guts. Like, real talk, Ohio State, we be on some gang stuff. Like, we be real live gang out here. We cross out M's. You know how crazy that is? Like, when I see that from kids in my class, that's a red flag. Like, real talk, that's a red flag. I report that to a counselor or something like, hey, so and so, every time they use the letter C, they cross out the C. Or they'll put like a B instead of a C. Like, they probably affiliated. We really be on that. Like, I personally don't do that. I used to for a second, but then I was like, man, this is stupid. I can't use M's for a team I don't like for 3 hours a year. I don't hate Michigan players. I got a lot of friends that support Michigan athletics. I don't hate them. Like, I got a lot of good friends as Michigan fans. I don't hate them because of the team that they like. For 3 hours a day, for 3 hours a year, I talk mess to them. I go like, I hate your team. But that's just for 3 hours and we talking about a football game. As soon as the game is over, I'm either talking reckless because we won, or I'm like, wait till next year if we lose. Other than that, I'm not carrying this. I'm not carrying this for the rest of my day. Like, I may act like it to get some laughs, but man, it's not that deep. But when you watching the football game, you show these images of players grabbing each other's helmets and fighting each other. And if you see that long enough, you go like, man, these teams really hate each other. And these players see that and they go like, man, these we really don't like them. We hate them. And then you have stuff like this happen. I'm in Cincinnati. I'm a Cincy fan talking. I've lived long enough to watch a Cincinnati and Xavier crosstown shootout game where at the end they really threw blows at each other and they were like bloody and they had to stop the crosstown shootout for a couple of years. They had to call it the Crosstown Classic, which I think was actually pretty smart. But now we're back to the Crosstown Shootout. That imagery where it's a shootout in a city like Cincinnati where people actually get into shootouts in certain neighborhoods. Like that actually happens. So these football players hate each other. These basketball players hate each other so much that it's a shootout. But that's the thing though. When we call something a war so much, these players hear that. And then we get stuff like this that happens. And then we act all surprised. And then we blame the players. Like, how could they? Because we do. They feed off of us. These are kids. People don't really seem to understand that. I know they're getting all this NIL money. They get in the bag or whatever. We talking about kids, man. Impressionable 18, 21, 22-year-olds. Now, some of them on their seventh year of college. I get that. Some of them like super duper, ooper seniors. But for the most part, we talking about young men that's playing football, trying to go to the pros, or playing football and knowing they ain't going to play no more. It's just one of those things where, once again, sports is a reflection of our society. It always has been. People use it as an escape to get away from society for a couple of hours, but it's really not. It's just another vacuum where sports is more of a microcosm of life. That's what it is. So we really got to watch how we talk about this stuff. We really do. We got to watch how we act. And we can't just let football envelop who we are to the point where we lose our identity. And then somebody plants a flag and then all of a sudden we fighting. Or you think it's so deep that you have to plant a flag in the first place. Take your W, keep it pushing. Or you see somebody plant a flag on your stadium, in the middle of your stadium, you go like, dang, okay, we got you next year. I see you. But nobody's fighting over this. It was a little embarrassing to see. And that's just my take on that. For me, as much as it sucks to say it, congrats to the Wolverines. Enjoy watching the Ohio State Buckeyes play in the playoff. Enjoy that. But understand that in the back of our heads, even if we win a national title, we're still going to be a little bit salty that we lost to Michigan. And they know that. That's why you hear them crowing all the time, because they know that. And it's real. They're not going anywhere but to like the quick lane change bowl or something like that. But they can say this year that they got that W because they did. Hey, you can't hate it. You got to appreciate it. This Bengals part, this gonna go real fast. I got on my notes 5 minutes or less. And then that's all I got. This will be like 3 minutes or less. Yo, sucky year. One of those things, one of those years so far where everything bad that could happen has happened. Losing in all of these ways just kind of messes with your psyche and it makes you go like, dang, why am I watching this? But then you watch because it's like watching an episode of The Fresh Prince or like an episode of Family Matters or one of those shows that you like and you watch it just because it's comfortable, even though you know what's going to happen. That's what watching the Bengals game is. The Bengals will either A, come out horrible on offense and then have to play catch up, and then they eventually do, and then they lose by 7. Or they come out on fire on offense and then the defense is trash, and then the offense feels like they have to score every possession, and then they don't score on 2 straight possessions, and then bad things happen, and then the Bengals lose by 7. Either way, the Bengals are going to lose by 7. Not worried about playoffs or nothing like that. I'm more like, looky here. I would like for us to look good for the rest of the season. I don't want you to just lose games on purpose so we can get a high draft pick. None of that. Just represent us well. just look like just defense look like you coming out here to ball. Don't get Burrow hurt. And let's boot up for next year. That's where I'm at with the Bengals. That's pretty much all I got for the Bengals. Now, I was a little more optimistic a few weeks ago, and then this losing streak is kind of like put a cramp in that. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. That's pretty much it for my Bengals take. Um, Before we close this out, let me go ahead and say a couple of things. Number one, if you out there and you know a teacher and you support a teacher, hey, do what you can to make their life a little bit easier. Being a teacher is rough. Now, I'm saying this as a teacher who only teaches 4 days a week. That's right. No school on Monday, every Monday for us. And it's still rough. I'm I'm lucky enough to have a class with pretty decent kids. Now, further down the hallway, it's not like that. But I'm lucky enough to have it like that. Support your teachers. I know we got like a new administration coming in and stuff like that. This should not be a reason for you to not support your teachers, all right? It's wild stuff going on out here on the education front. Look out for your teachers. I mean, a high five or a good job does wonders for our psyche. I'm just trying to tell you. So make sure you do that for number one. Number two, you don't know what other people are going through. All right, you really don't. Nobody does. So what you want to do is you want to treat each other with respect. You feel me? Nobody really understands what the other person's going through. And I feel like everybody walks around with the weight of what they got going on their shoulders. And they feel like this is what I got going on. So leave me alone. Don't talk to me. You don't understand how I have it. And that's true. I don't understand how you have it. You don't understand how I have it either. So I think we all need to walk around going like, look, this person may be going through something. Let me just say hi to him. Let me give him a head nod. Even if you say nothing, a smile does wonders for your psyche. I don't know. I think smiles and high fives are like awesome things. And I feel like people need to do that a lot more. So I would say those two things. Like, treat each other with some respect and say what's up to people. It really goes a long way. All right. I feel like that's it. We're gonna go ahead and kind of roll out with that because we got more, but I feel like I need to pace myself. I feel like this about to end up being like one of those rare 1 hour episodes of a Cincy fan talking with LP, and I feel like I need to stop myself now because I'm about to go on like some real live rants. But I got time. We got Christmas break coming up. We got time for double episodes of a Cincy fan talking with LP. And we also got some cool stuff coming up. Kind of been in the lab, tweaking stuff, trying to see how things sound, trying to see if I can actually get some guests to come on here like I always say. And I feel like it's coming. So definitely stay tuned. Hey, hold me to some consistency, all right? We're going to try a different little schedule so I can make sure I get stuff out every week. So, hey, we getting ready, you feel me? And pump the music up. Yes, sir. Getting back into the swing of it. Hey, as always, you got a Cincy fan talking with LP, and this is LP. Appreciate y'all kicking it with me. And as always, life is good. See y'all next week.